I've had a ton of requests to create a tutorial for our Saveopoly stencil. So I'm going to use it to set up a savings tracker in my journal. First of all, by creating the game board using the central spaces on the stencil. Now, because it's a super easy stencil, we generally just lay those down and trace the whole thing in full. What I'm doing to create my game board is I'm tracing the corner pieces of the game board, but only the internal lines of the side pieces. The reason for that is that I find you end up with a cleaner looking board if you trace the internal lines and then use the edge of the stencil to join those corner pieces up. You'll see what I mean in a second once I've finished tracing all of those internal lines. And so I turn the stencil onto the side and use it to join between the corner pieces, creating the shape of a board game. So again at the bottom, and then I'll do the same thing on the two sides. Now, Saveopoly can be used in an endless amount of ways. I'm going to use it as a saving tracker, and my aim is to save £200. So by doing that, I will change the numbers in each of the squares to add up to 200. Now I've got my game board and I replace my stencil, and I'm going to draw the little piggy bank icon in the centre of the board. And then I'll trace out the title, which says Saveopoly across the top in our cherry font. This one doesn't have the centres of the letters, so you will need to add in the centre of the A, the O and the P yourself. You can see how I've done that here, just for a rough idea of what those look like. Generally on our font stencils, we include all of the middles at the bottom of the stencil so that you can easily add those in, but there isn't enough room on here because of the game, so we've left them off for this instance. Now I've got my header and my game board, it's time to start adding in some of the detail. So across each side, I add in the numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 8, 6, 4 and 2. If you add that up 4 times for each of the 4 sides, then you get to your £200 goal, and that's my saving goal for the Saveopoly board. You can add in numbers any way you like that add up to your savings goal, or you can make a completely different game out of it. It's totally up to you. Once I've got all of those numbers in, I'm going to use the symbols on the stencil at the bottom to add in some interest into the corners. First of all, starting with the go space, which is where you will begin your game. I've then got a question mark, an exclamation mark, a heart, and a light bulb for the utility space. Now, these really are a bit of fun, and you can be as creative as you want to with them. Perhaps you will use the heart as a key to do something self-care. Perhaps the exclamation mark might be to invest. Really, it's down to you to kind of make up what those key spaces mean. And once I've got those completed in, the last thing for me to do is to write out the rules of the game. And the rules of the game are pretty simple. You start on the go space, you roll a dice, and you count that number of spaces. Once you get to a square with a number on it, that's how much you will place in your savings account that week. You then colour in that square, and the next time, roll the dice again and move around. If you land in a square that's already been coloured in, you roll the dice again and move to another one until you land on one that hasn't been coloured in. Once you've completed the whole game board and everything's coloured in, you will have met your savings goal. It's a little bit of a fun way of tracking where you're at with your savings and make it into a bit of a gamification. I really like it. I think Saveopoly is fun, and it's also made a really cute spread in less than 10 minutes. Add a bit of colour and it'll be lush. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you give us a follow, and a little bit of love won't go astray, and we'll see you next time.